Hi, welcome to the Rainbow Room International podcast channel, and we are now deep into the Stars of the Brand series, and today we've got, if not the star of the brand, definitely one of the stars of the brand, and it's Joy McQuillan. My story with Joy goes right back to she was 14. She was a member of our Sunday club, and she has flown to heights that we maybe not could have imagined, but Joy certainly did right from the time that she was 14. We've got a lot of history together. There's going to be a lot of energy over this period of time. I don't know if we're even going to be able to bottle it into this podcast, but she is incredible and you're going to love every minute of it. So, usual service, if you're driving, both hands on the steering wheel and watch where you're going. And if you're watching at home, sit back and enjoy. Joy McQuillan.
Ross now?
Joy
Ross now?
Joy Ross, of course. Married name and all that. Do you know, before we even start, one of the great things is I'll get a client come in and go, oh, Joy used to do my hair or whatever. And they'd all go, oh, is she still in the company? And you go, she's also married with 2 kids. And like, no, she isn't. They're like that. She is. She met her match and he went, hold my beer, watch me. Yeah, Hugh's a legend in his own right. We'll get to him. So, as you know, or don't know, we're doing Stars of the Brand. Anybody that's been in the brand for 15 years. I keep saying 20 years for some reason, William. I don't know where the 20s came from, but it's 15 years and onwards. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I'm trying to start with the heavy hitters. Mm-hmm. You know, and obviously we've had Pam, yourself, Jackie in the room, all that kind of stuff. We're really trying to get that. So, and it's just your story, you know. So, where were you born?
I was born in Coatbridge, Bells Hill, here. Yep.
Yeah, mum and dad.
Mum and dad from Coatbridge.
Sisters.
Sister. Oh, I've got a younger sister. She's from Coatbridge as well.
Right, so the whole crew. And and you lived out that way.
Just always stayed there.
Yeah, you're still out that time.
Still there.
Still there. School, early primary school, all that kind of stuff. Where did you go? What was that like?
St Mary's Primary School, and that was just a wee short walk from where we lived. And then the high school was right there as well. It was all very much staying in Coatbridge. I think that's how when I got the job. And I was going to town and all that. It was like, whoa, you know, it's like, because you're always just stick to where you're from and everything. Yeah. Went to Coatbridge, and the high school and primary was right next to each other. But I just obviously went to 4th year and then left and came into Rainbow Room.
But how was school? Did you get?
I loved school. Yeah. I loved school. Every report was too chatty, right? But I quite liked learning. I mean, I wasn't amazing at learning, but I enjoyed it. Loved the social aspect. Loved to get up and get ready. Just going to school. I love school, and I broke my heart when I left.
Did you?
I really did. But I knew that's what I wanted to do. It wasn't like, will I stay on? It wasn't. It was just like all my pals were going to 5th year and still, and I was like, you know, responsible adult going to. But I knew that was no point in delaying it. I wanted to just do it, you know.
And also, I guess, because you had grown up and primary school was so near and secondary, there was obviously that wee mini community within a community that you had your crew.
That's it.
And the idea that you were
family all round
breaking
you.
Away. What subjects, like, was PE?
I love drama.
Right.
It's funny.
Of all kinds.
Exactly. And then PE, I was really sporty. And then I liked, obviously, like drama. Didn't really like English. I just always never liked like spelling and reading. Didn't like it. I did struggle with it a bit, but everything else I still tried, and I liked all the other subjects. Hated French, but PE I loved it. I took PE studies, and it was only me and another girl. I was actually going to not take it. It's like all class of boys, and then I ended up liking that.
Right,
you know, I got older, all the boys. But so I took PE and drama. They were just my favourites. But like I definitely wasn't a studier or a swot by any means.
And what about PE? What was there particular sports that you were into, or what?
So I played netball. I actually played netball right into up till I was about 26. Loved it, and I done a good wee bit of running, athletics and stuff. So probably netball and athletics, running and long jump and stuff are my thing. But I play any sport. Do anything. All the time.
Right.
Loved it.
So when did the idea of hairdressing kick in? Where did that
because that was the thing, like at a point I did love sports so much and PE and sports, and I was good at it. I was like, right, well maybe, you know, PE teacher's an option or going into something with sports. And then my mum was a hairdresser. That's basically where it all came from with me. And my mum, she'd done it she worked in a salon and all that, but then when she had me and my sister, she kind of stopped and it was just really in the kitchen hairdressing. So not the best, but like I could watch her do it and just loved it. And I remember when I was wee, I just always, my sister's hair, I just used to love all my friends. When we would just sit, come over to the house, they would sit, I'd go on the couch, they'd be at the bottom, and I would play with their hairs, right? And I used to just and I learned from my mum, like at a really young age, because she used to do like all my aunties and stuff and her friends.
And would you be helping her?
And
would you end up helping her?
Kind of a bit. I used to honestly actually pass up perm rods. I think I was about 12, and I used to watch her and I loved it. And as I say, just play and like blow dry my mum's hair when I was really young and stuff, and good with my own hair. And then I kind of just thought, so then I did like it, but I never still thought I'd be a hairdresser, and it came to work experience. I think it was about 14. And I was like, so you can't really, we probably could do PE teacher work experience, but I was like, I really like that. My mum's like, right, so you need to go to a good one. You don't go to one in Coatbridge or anything, you go in the town, you do. And I was like, and so then I was still really, I was actually interested in doing it, but when I went work experience, that was me. I was like, I love this job.
And so
into town.
Was Buchanan Street on your work experience file then you got Glasgow?
I went, my mum told me, because I didn't know, Dallas Assume, Rainbow Room, Rita Rusk, Taylor Ferguson, and there was another one, I can't remember, and I wrote wee letters myself because the school didn't do them. I wrote all wee letters, and the only reason I went to Vidal Sassoon is just because they replied first. I was organising myself. Right. Rainbow Room replied as well, but that was it, because I wouldn't have known. It was just pick one, really. Yeah. And I actually went there, it was just the one in Princess Square, and I just absolutely, I'm like, I was training to town, it just felt like a wee lady, and I'm like a wee working girl, and I got in, and it was like, oh, this is, sounds like Rainbow Room. It was really the place to be then.
Oh, no, I mean, it was unbelievable.
I loved it, Ricardo. I was like, I went in, and they were actually just saying to me, see, because I could do things, they got me washing hair, that was work experience. I'm like, I'll do it, and I was just doing it. I came home buzzing every night. I was like, Mum, it's brilliant to see these cool people. I was saying about all the hairdressers, and I was blown away. I was 14, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. This, like, it's not just a wee, like, backstreet salon was never, a local salon was never an option for me. No. And doing that that was me. I wanted to be a hairdresser. No, not even think about anything else. I wanted to leave school and do it. Yeah. So actually, just like maybe about a month later, I got a letter from Rainbow Room saying, because they had my wee note, it just said, since you actually thought I'd been work experience, since you've been work experience here, we're doing a Sunday club. Do you want to come in and learn how to do hair? And I'm like, oh my God, my mum's like, Rainbow Room, that's great. That was just luck, because
that's mental.
If they didn't have my wee letter, I hadn't been, so I might have not have even.
You wouldn't have been on.
So it was a wee bit of fate. So I was like, right, and I went.
That's bonkers, man.
And I went on the Sunday, and that Sunday, 30 years ago, and I've been there ever since. And it was like, oh, I love this.
What a crazy slide. What's fascinating, because obviously I've spoke to everybody, and they've all got these wee sliding door moments where it could have happened or it couldn't have happened. And obviously we go through that with everything in life, whether it's houses we buy or people we go out with or whatever. Because you wrote this letter and it's in the file, and then, the chances are it's either been myself and Lee and Ray, because Lee and Ray were putting the Sunday Club together, that we've got in touch. It's absolutely
you found a wee letter and thought I've replied and came, probably. But I don't know there'd be much hand letters, because most of all the Glasgow area is done through school. Because Glasgow was a wee bit further away, it wasn't on my wee list.
You'd have been, and the chances are that's probably stood out. That she's went and written this thing and all that kind of stuff, and somebody's kept it somewhere in a file, and then Alan came up with the idea, because we were just, obviously, we were looking to give Lee and Ray a wee bit more sort of responsibility within the training thing, taking a wee bit of heat off me as well, which was great. And obviously Alan had saw this opportunity about, how can we get people into the idea of being part of us as early as possible, but there would obviously be even then there would be, no one to hire 14-year-old kids and all that kind of stuff, but equally would just turn them on to hairdressing at a certain point. So obviously that's, you come into my reckoning at that point and coming in there. So what was that like, coming in and actually getting taught and trained?
I was so excited. So my dad ran me in, and he waited at Nelson Mandela Place. It was just 2 hours it was. And I didn't know what to expect, but I was so buzzing. And I was like, I remember, and there was Galore. Do you remember that first day?
Yeah,
took it. Lee and Ray was behind you, and there was a good turnout. And just sitting, and I was like, oh, can't wait to learn. And because I thought, because I knew things just through my mum a wee bit. I was like, you know, so you knew you were going to good bits. That's when the confidence came in me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can't wait.
I can do this.
I can do pleats, I can do this, I can do that, and all that.
You could have probably did pleats better than me at that age, and even then.
Oh, no, I was like that. So I loved it. It was great, and it was just because this was the first time I'd been in the salon, so you come in the big salon, even bigger in Vidal Sassoon. It was just like we went through the back. Oh, it was just middle in Buchanan Street. Oh, I just loved all that part about it. And then it was like you started talking, and I'm like, wow, you were saying like, and then I was just, I just loved it. That was me hooked. So I was like, oh, and I don't know if we got too much. I think we got a wee bit to do because it was 2 hours. It was a lot of talking and stuff, and then we got to practice on Sally's.
Yeah.
And a few like they come up and have you done this before? Yeah, I can do it. You know, it was just sectioning.
No,
I just done it
yeah,
quick.
Yeah, I think we did. You did probably done night sections, and then you done a wee bit of pleating. If they was still
just starting, and I'm like,
hurry
just
up,
like that a wee bit. And you're so like, so I think you saw straight away maybe, you know, I stood out a wee bit.
So at that point, then it would just be a case of waiting until you got to 15 till we got you in as a Saturday guy.
No, so what happened? So it's dead funny. I remember this, right? Because this is my first introduction to Rainbow Room. This is what you've done. This is your typical you, right? Fire the question. Yeah. So everybody was sitting, we're all wee girls. Would you scout your bed here to come for the day, right? So you know as well when you're shy, you don't want to speak up. And I was like, nobody said for ages. And I was like, to learn? You're like, learn what? I'm like, learn how to do hair, probably. You're like, bang on, and that too. I just remember, and I was like, so I felt like I was all good getting the answers right and stuff. And then, honestly, I don't believe this. So I could have been maybe going on 15, right? But it was, and I came the next day, Sunday club again. And I honestly, I'm not just saying this. It must have been real. Lee or Ray said to me, right, can you start, right? Can you work the shift, right? So it must have been maybe I was 15. I think you could work at the weekends at 14 then.
You could do.
I'm
we didn't probably
promote it. But so honestly, this is what happened, right? So I was like, hung my wee jacket up and all that. And it was funny, I had the white shirt on anyway and the black because my mum told me to wear that. And I went, give me a minute, ran to my dad's car and I'm like, Dad, I'm working a full day as a shift. So he went away home and I worked on Sunday and then straight away I think somebody took me over washing hair and I was great, stepped up all day and loved it. That's what happens. Probably hilarious. Nowadays, but back 30 years ago, you could probably get away with doing that.
So obviously somebody's phoned in sick.
There was two people phoned in sick. Right,
it's just been a riot on the Sunday and you came in and stepped in.
It was a great hand. I was like just doing everything all day. I didn't stop. I was just loved it and that was me. Right. So that was me, a Sunday girl for good while, I think a year. And then it was Saturday, Sunday girl. And then as soon as I turned 16,
you went full time. But you're of that crew. Lee was basically the same, and that by the time she went full time, you especially, because you were the first of that group. By the time you went full time, you were probably doing 90% of everything. You were probably tinting and foiling and drying and doing all that for people already, weren't you?
When I started full time, I was halfway through, probably, because it was probably nearly a full year before I turned 16. Yeah. Best part of a year, and as they've been keen to learn, I would just always like, can you show me how to do it, you know? And
were you a Monday night training class then? Were you
Wednesday night?
We moved. Of course, it was me. It was doing it. So we moved it a Wednesday. I was there for doing Mondays. But
so I was at the Monday off.
And it was mobbed, wasn't? I mean, there was that. Obviously, because it was my crew at that point, I always think of that just as an absolute golden period. All the ones that came either before you and after you, over a kind of 3 or 4 year period, were just amazing. And these are all over the world. These are all in different places, and these are all superstars in your own right. And it was amazing to think that in that wee sort of 4 year period, for instance.
Oh, how can we get that back?
I don't know. But do you know something? It's just a moment of magic.
It's different tight.
It's just a moment of magic when you just got a certain amount of period. And also, quite frankly, if your model took you to 10 o'clock to do, then we stayed there to 10 o'clock.
So you
did it. You know that we just did it, and
that was it,
for all the reasons that you're not allowed to do that now, kind of sort of spoils that, to the detriment of anybody that's learning, unfortunately. But you get made to look like the bad guy for making people do it. But it really was. It was absolutely golden. So, you weren't in long training then, were you?
No, it wasn't. So actually, my first day on the floor over back at Buchanan Street after doing my 4 months was my 18th birthday.
Right.
Got a cake and everything. So I qualified at 17. actual, do you know what I mean? Got a
And you had the old
certificate.
school thing, you had to do the 4
months. And it would
And
have
that was
been
Fame
up
Academy
up
upstairs.
the stairs.
Yeah.
And then it was just so funny. My first day back was my 18th birthday.
How did you find that? Was that?
Oh, I loved it. It was great. I mean,
was Alex in charge of it? Was he doing it
Alex,
there? Brilliant.
He
that
still
was
nips in.
yeah,
Salon,
it
so
was
he
great.
does.
That was a
He
brilliant
amazing.
period up there as
Honestly,
well, wasn't it?
Loved it.
And a lot of the people that came through that particular system
Mm-hmm.
are all either legends and they're all working wherever they're working, or they're back in the brand. You know, there's a few people from that group have come back into
Yeah,
the
I
brand
know.
as well, which is amazing. But did you find that set you up to come back and you were ready to rock?
Yeah, aye. I there's that old thing, you're like, oh my God, I'm running my own call, my own clients. And I remember like panicking, because I'd say that's the most time I've learned something, everything at once. You know how to work a column. You're first doing colours, you've just got all. Alex was a great model support, but I was running 9 clients a day every day. Honestly, that's the way I trained. And I think
it was brutal.
So, and you didn't have time. He couldn't really help you that much, because it's either that or run behind. So like, I got a buzz off that, as you know. And I remember on Saturdays, I remember Saturdays when you were my boss Ricardo, right? I was like probably very low down the ladder, and somebody would come without appointment. Joy will do it, and I'm like, right, and you know I would do it, and I'd get it done.
It'd be
so
easy.
I think it comes from, because nowadays, it's like, it's just different. The days you need space, these colours are longer, clients are more, and but then I think that's actually what gives me, that's how I was so fast
But
from that.
you again, talking to all the stylists that work in that ilk, you've just got that time frame in your brain.
That's it.
You just work in that time frame, and anything that takes longer than that, you make it fit the time frame, as opposed to making the thing
Stretch,
longer.
I know.
Which is amazing, and all the stylists like you. That there's not many really, that have done the numbers that you guys have done, but you all managed to do that. The other thing, obviously, we have in common is we were both Linda Burdetti's assistants as well. That way, you kind of took over. I think I must have been finished a couple of generations by the time that you kind of took over for Linda. How was it like working for you, Linda?
She was just amazing, wasn't she?
She
was like just the epitome of professionalism. That's what I just used to love about Linda. So that really taught me that side of it.
Yeah.
She was just brilliant. I loved working with her.
The thing with Linda as well, and obviously we got to watch Pam do it, and she still does it obviously to this day. Their figures, they would know
inside out.
Unbelievable, and they would count them all, and they would do all of that. And Linda's thing, I think, more than anybody, even at a push, Alan, was she looked expensive and $1 million every day, didn't she? Didn't matter how busy she was, didn't matter what time of year it was. She was immaculate. Hair, outfits, endless diamonds coming out of everywhere.
Diamonds everywhere.
It was, and that I've never even that never leaves.
Never leave you.
You know. And then just the hope that she would let you do something.
Aye.
You'd always look over at Alan's assistant and you'd be so jealous because he would be getting them doing everything. You're standing there holding foils up and holding the bowl and going like, "Wouldn't let me get a shot," you know.
I know.
And obviously she was rapid,
So
rapid
good.
as well, and tiny.
I know.
You know, I was teaching at an academy the other day, and there was this wee girl and she was talking about her height. She was like, "Could you make me look tiny?" And I went, "Listen, I grew up and I got trained by the smallest stylist you've ever seen in your life."
She can reach the layers.
She had the biggest clientele. Well, winding parents and all that. It was just without a wee footstool.
That's it.
So, do you feel she gave you a great grounding as well?
Definitely. Yeah. She was one of the biggest influences, probably because I was working with her, and she learned me everything, and everything was perfect, immaculate.
Yeah.
But see, like, when I was on the floor, like the people around me, like you, Alan, Pam, Linda, Brian, and Robert, like all these people, like to me, they were just, I need to work every day to watch, just to be like what they're doing. I mean, like, it was real role models for me. And
100%.
Like just,
I mean,
that really did make it, you know?
No, totally. And I think I always think that's our responsibility, any of the young team coming through as well, that they get to be influenced in a positive frame the way that we got, because obviously when I started they were all gods in Buchanan Street. I just thought they were all incredible, and then you always have a wee bit of imposter syndrome that you never think you're one of them. You always think that you're kind of like, well, you know, but my responsibility was always to just show you guys or hopefully be a positive role model that way, not thinking you were as good as Linda or good as Alan or any of that kind of stuff, but instilling the values that they'd hopefully put into me was my job to pass down to you guys, and obviously Lee and Ray and all the crew, Alana and all that crew, who were all just, it really was. And it was the only thing about leaving that kind of broke my heart a wee bit, and that crew all got broken up at that point. And that was always really tough. I think that was, of all of the things of moving away from the salon that I found really difficult, was that crew got broken up, because in my head I saw that crew as being who I walked into. My job wasn't about, or my plan in my head wasn't about me. It was about me creating what I walked into and have it for 20 years over there, and being the bridge between the two bits. The great thing is all of that crew are all brilliant in whatever they do now, and if at some point we've put that positivity into them that's allowed them to be that, then that's I'll take that. But the idea of having had everybody together, you know, there's a few of you have actually commented in the bottom of the podcast and all that. So a few of your crew have commented on Pam's and all of that, which is, I love it, you know, I absolutely love it. And, you know, for what's important for them is to know they've never been forgotten in the journey as well, is really cool. So you come on the floor. So what are you talking about, 97 then? 98, you qualified, do you think? So if you started 96, 97, 99 then, you'd have qualified 99. So interesting, because, I mean, Glasgow's on fire in 1999. I mean, the town's amazing. Buchanan Street's flying. The salon, you know, we were running out of chairs, and that's when the benches get brought in and all that kind of craziness. So was building your clientele pretty straightforward from the start? It
was, because there was so much there. As you say, to turn people away. So it was easy building the clientele. I mean, you know, it's like, you really, for me, I was like, when I'd done a client, I was my wee notebook, see if they come back to me. That was a really important thing, but the clients were definitely there for you.
So did you always keep a wee paper file of what you did and why you did it and who they were?
When I went over to the school, the Fame Academy, that was me. Me started everything, so I kept all notes as well. I'm still like that. I'm very, very organised with stuff like that, figures, notes, and all that. So. And
again, obviously, because you're sitting watching Pam and you're watching Linda, and
that's what you had to do.
It's worked for them, you know, and you're probably very quickly going, well, they're the ones that are doing it and they're winning. And the ones that aren't doing it are drinking coffee in the staff room.
That's it. Well, you'll remember the famous scores in the doors and the Saturday night meetings you used to take. We'd all get a drink, we'd sit, and it was like named and shamed, and it was like, so I'm competitive.
Soft drinks.
So Saturday night we were finished.
I know, that's true.
A wee baby. So we'd all sit, and so it was basically named and shamed, the top and the bottom of all the figures, and who done this and who's doing this, and the top wage and all that. And I was just sitting like, wow, like I want to be at the top there. So, and that's, you know, because I'm just, that's my competitive streak a bit, but I want to always do my best and try and be the best at what I do. But that was like, right, okay, so how do I get to that? I need to do these figures, and I need to know these figures in order to do it.
So do you think the PE from back in the day and the sport and the competing, because even more so the athletics, because it's you. It's not a team game at that point.
That's where it definitely came from me. Because my sister's quite different. We're only 3 years between us. And she wouldn't be like that. She was into sport and all that. Like, you know yourself, most people that play sport is competitive.
No, of course.
That's the name of the game, isn't it, kind of thing? So I think it did definitely come from that. And then come into a salon, and, you know, even just the fact, you didn't need to get a prize. Like, just saying, you're the best this month, you've done that. That's it. It gets it for me, like, I want to, do you know?
And especially when you're at stylist level as well, it's that thing where if your figures are actually higher than somebody that, you know, if you've done more retail or you did more treatments or you did a couple of colours more than somebody that's higher up, you're like, I'm doing this, it's good. So promotion ladder, were you within a year then for your first promotion? Were you one of that crew?
Yeah, I was straight away, within the year.
I mean, that's the thing, again, going through all the directors' ones and then like Pam and Jackie and all that kind of stuff. Jackie's is different because obviously she was already a hairdresser for about 9 years before she started, but still the same thing. You're still leaving town, you're coming to a different place and you're building up, but you're all within that kind of 10-month thing, you know, where you're all getting promoted. And did you find that pretty seamless going?
I did, yeah. I think because it was just, so when I was going, when I was doing the figures and I was just doing like like above what I had to do. I'm like, well, I need to do this. I need to get to the next level, and I did just do it quite fast. But like for me, it was just it was organic, because it was just, I'm not like, oh, I want to get promoted to this stylist. It was just like, I need to move up because I'm developing at that time, and I was part of it, and it was really good. And I think it's probably slightly different. It's probably tighter now, the promotion system and stuff like that. But it was just all, you just showed what you could do, and you know, you're on.
Well, the thing is, the figures were harder.
Figures
were
miles.
miles.
My figures were the easy thing for me. Like sometimes presenting that would just get a bit nervous and things like that. You know, when you're doing the thing. But
you were still the old numbers though. You were still 170 odd clients, 132 requests. You were 32 colours, 12 perms, 8 treatments and 60 retail. Right? I mean, that's what it was.
I know.
And
That's
you
what
say
it was,
that to
exactly.
people and they look at you like you're talking mince, right? And it's unbelievable. But you had actually been the first generation where we then made it an average, because people were doing 1 month and they were getting everybody in.
Anything averaged over 3.
And I think we did. I think at that point, and I think we lowered. I think the only thing that got lowered was the client numbers. But you were allowed that period of kind of 3 months, and then, well, if you hit it at that, then that was you good to go. Yeah. And obviously you were smashing the doors off it, weren't you? I mean, you were just absolutely, you were absolutely going through it. So you would also then have been in the transition of then having to do the presentations, because when you probably got your first promotion, it was just you hit the numbers and you were up.
I'm sure
but then later on in your career, it was you had to do the presentations and all that stuff. So was that something you weren't into?
I think it was just, do you know what, it seemed I actually got on. I think I just overthink things and worried about it, get a wee bit nervous, but and I didn't love it. But after it all, I was like, what did I worry about that for? Because you would just do your thing.
Aye.
But I would definitely stress over it.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure the portfolios maybe come in as well. They come in as well.
Yeah, 20 before and afters and your head sheets and all that kind of stuff.
Because they weren't at the start, they were just maybe halfway through. And that didn't bother me. I think it was more, and then did the presentation. Oh, you still do that? You still do the both? And I wasn't so bad with the portfolio. It was just that. But then I actually was, Alan used to always say to me, see, if we need you, we could put you up on stage. And I'm going, no. He's like, but when you do it, you're all right. And actually, after it, but the thought of it, I think, would stress me out a bit much.
So that's interesting, because that's a wee bit of a crossroads that you've got with Jackie as well, in respect to, I think what's really important is everybody watching the directors one, there's a lot of kind of people either going down the path of art team and doing show work or photographs or and that kind of stuff. And now as we're doing stars of the brand, obviously the likes of Pam, as much as she dipped her toe in it actually before she joined Rainbow Room, but wasn't it what she wanted to do? She wanted to do her clients. She loved doing her clients. She wanted to do her time in the salon, do as much as she could within her time, but then enjoy her home life and enjoy her holidays and all that kind of stuff. So did you find that you were in that kind of camp, that's kind of what you wanted to do as well?
I think, so obviously remember when we'd done the Wednesday nights, so I was qualified then, and when we stayed, and I enjoyed doing the training. I've done that for years as well and things.
Exactly.
So I think you kind of thought yourself, I was one of these people like your Pams and Jackies, didn't take lunch. We went in, I worked and that was my choice. Worked to 9 to 6, and that was it. And then it was a wee bit sometimes, like slight wee bit for me, back up to give it all, like the artistic teams after work. Like, just a wee bit, and then a wee bit also being young. That's eating into my drinking time. And I just loved what I'd done so much that I was just like, it might take the shine off this. And I think it was a wee mixture of everything. And then I was just like, I'm just, just going with my clients. I just want, get the numbers up and build. And my goal then was to become a salon director quite young, instead of maybe going to the artistic team. So it was kind of a bit like that.
But it's the idea that sometimes people, because I think Jackie looks back on it and kind of goes, and like, but that's not what your goal was, right? I mean, we always used to joke that you don't need a man to buy a ring. That was always our thing. Right? You want to buy, you want a car, you want your car, you buy your car. You want your ring, you buy your ring.
That also didn't meet my husband. It was really late. So.
And know what I mean. And listen, Jackie's still doing it. I'm not buying her any day diamond she's wearing. That's got nothing to do with me. So the fact of that was that you grabbed that and you put that goal in, and that's who you wanted to do, but not. And the thing was, I think people get mixed up with, there's no detriment to your hairdressing in that, because to have that clientele, you've still got to be walking the talk. But what you were probably getting out of that was the Wednesday night bit, which was again one of my favourite things, was because all of us that grew up in that period stayed back and did the training, because the whole theory was somebody stayed back to teach us. So then we've got to do that. But also, and you're no daft enough, and you're clever enough to know, if you're the one staying back helping, and you're the one with the 2 colours in, who's the assistant going to help?
Exactly.
They're going to help you, aren't they? The one that went home at 5 to 5 and didn't bother staying to teach them, they're not going to help them.
That was a massive thing. Because
and we created a crew within a crew, and we made sure that we were all...
they helped you all day, so you helped them at night.
Of course.
That was it.
It was absolutely that. And then, but then they wanted to stay.
That's it.
The next part of that was they didn't want to go and work anywhere else. They wanted to emulate. Because the great thing for me by that point is, I knew they didn't want to be me. They wanted to be you, and they wanted to be Lee, and they wanted to be Ray, and they wanted to be they guys. Can look at me. By that point, I felt ancient already. So that was fine, you know. But because as well, there was not a team within a team, but there was a massive, not a massive age. Well, there was a massive age gap, really, because there was, and I kind of by that point I'm kind of bridging both camps. I'm not quite the old crew, and I'm definitely not the young crew. But obviously, I was more in charge of that particular group. But you've gave back. In that, you can argue that doing the art team and all that slightly giving back to the brand. You did that with either teaching or as a role model, or follow me charge, because this is where we're going. So, when did you start kicking the arse out of Congress and winning everything? When did that really kick in?
Well, do you know, my first Congress, I got assistant of the year.
Right.
And that was obviously just...
Yeah.
And then...
One of the only ones to stay.
Right.
We usually use them.
I know. And I was... But I remember just getting up for the award and it was just great. I mean, they were massive then. Remember that? And it was just like... So that was the first time you experienced that.
Yeah.
And it was like... Just knowing, obviously, the meetings and that, you just wanted to be one that's winning awards and all the rest of it. So then, I'm sure the following year I would have qualified, and then I got newcomer of the year that year, or maybe it could have been the next year. But and then that was it every year for then.
It's like and here she comes, charge. And I mean, and even at the point where you're still going up and getting self promotion and all that, because you're doing a couple more than the year before and all that, which isn't invented. I always laugh when you and Pam and all that go up for them, and you're like going, it's not invented for you guys. It's invented for the person that's there the first year. But the idea that you're still better than your figures, and now obviously yourself and Pam will be working on percents because of your part-time, but you're still better than them at this point of the career is hilarious and amazing all at the same time. But again, really interesting that you've had the taste of it right back at winning assistant of the year, and it's in the back of the head going, I like a bit of this. And then obviously off the back of that was bonus time as well, when they were big chunky bonuses, when salons used to make a profit and we were able to give big chunky bonuses.
Slightly different world now.
And of course you grew up watching, like Buchanan Street used to clear them, and they were big. So again, you had that role model of going, I want that. And how quickly, because you were always really good at saving them up or using them for a thing. When did that... Was that an Alan Austin Smith thing with the 10% rule? Where did that come?
I don't know where that came from. I just remember as well, see, just being a young girl, this was always a thing for me. And not really growing up, like, valuing money, but not really growing up, just like average working parents and stuff. And I remember getting in, when it was all these prizes are winning, I remember people going, like, hairdressers can make this and all that. And I'm like, what? Like, for me, it was nothing about that, And I remember just going, no way. Like, this is just an absolute Brucey bonus for me, Because didn't even realise, I knew when you get into a city centre salon, a really good brand, it was much better than your backstreet brand. But I was just remember going, this is brilliant. I'll soon get the cavity he's got and this and that and all that. And, and it was a complete bonus for me because it was not even a thought I would make a lot of money. You were going to be doing it anyway. It was for a passion. So it has all came added bonuses to me. Do you know what I mean? But literally, eventually. And it's funny. So I've always been so good at, like, saving, as you say, my bonuses, putting them away and all that. And, like, my mum and dad never saved a penny in their life, honestly. They're like, where did you get that from? I think Alan Austin Smith was a really good thing. Pam and Linda, again, just with their figures and knowing what the figures and what they made at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And I did actually, funny enough, being really bad at English, was all right with the numbers.
Yeah.
And I love doing it. I still like adding up and doing wee books, and I'll sort out me Hugh's money and all that. You wouldn't have a clue. I just like, I think it's just working with numbers. I was always good at it and hated to like read. I mean, I won't read a thing. Honestly.
Yeah.
He reads the bills for me. I don't even read my post.
He'll come back with the number.
Honestly, I'm not kidding, but I would sit and like, I could add up things and all that. So I think Alan Austin Smith was a good thing, definitely.
Yeah.
That did help me.
Yeah.
But it was just a wee mixture of everything,
Yeah, because obviously, that was as a role model now and all that kind of thing, folk coming up behind you and stylists coming up behind you, and a piece of advice I would is, grab you at some point and ask you how you did it and what you did, because, not speaking at a school or anything, but you built yourself a wee cheeky portfolio and you bought your toy and you had that all set up and you were ready to rock long before anybody really was doing it. You know what I mean? I've still not done it. You know what I mean? But, and you did it, and you walked the talk, and it was amazing. And I'm not being funny, but folk wouldn't have thought you were going to be the one.
No.
That's what I love about it,
like
by the way.
wee,
I love that.
What do they call that?
Right. Because they think that they're...
Be outside. Is it called again? You're not the... Underdog. I like that.
Yeah. That way. And people would maybe, they all judge a book by the cover and all that crap, right? And that would be there. And that was always my favourite thing, because I would go, what you mean? No, actually, and it's like...
I've loved that all my life.
Do you know what? Do you want to know what she's driving? Do you want to know what she's earning? Do you want to know where she lives? That way, and all that kind of stuff. And that was... And you did that.
And that was just a total bonus to me, because it wasn't really planned out like that.
No.
And I've loved it, and it's been great, because it's a sign of being successful, and even just helping my mum and dad out, and just things like everything, all the wee small things. It's been great.
Time and graft. That That's way is what you've done and how you've done it. So, what do you reckon was from zero to salon director then? Were you within about like 5 years or something like that?
I'm sure I was 26 when I became a salon director. So that was, I know. It
is the numbers are mental. So but you in the world of double promotions and all that, but then did you do doublers?
I've done 2 doublers, I think.
Aye. So I think there was only...
And then they stopped doing that, didn't they?
Well, there were a couple of idiots did triples and all that nonsense and all that kind of stuff. And then that became... I think what happened is other people didn't have the clientele to do it. So people were like green cheese. Well, she's got it or he's got it. I want it. And you're going, yeah, but actually you're not doing the numbers. Yes, you're hitting the promotion, but you're not doing... Because you were getting to the stage where it wasn't an average, it was all year. You know what I mean? It was like period 1 to 13 was just the same. So it wasn't even that you were up and down or anything. Your year was your year.
Consistent.
So it was that consistent that, quite frankly, you could have charged anything that you wanted and went at any level that you wanted, and it wasn't really going to be a problem. Which, what a fabulous world to be in. And if only it was like that these days.
I know.
But so to do that by 26 is bonkers, right? Even though, okay, yeah, you went on the floor at 18, so you're sitting there at, your 8 years, on even 8 years on the floor, do you know what I mean? And at that point, you'd done all the extra levels, because all the added on levels were in, so you did that. And price increases, all that kind of stuff, did you just take that in your stride? Were you conscious of it?
Again, I always just think, I don't know, I don't second guess myself, but I do worry unnecessarily, and I would always say, and I would have a talk with me, or you would say, you're doing it all, so why are you worried? It was just, again, just lost in clients that I built up, it's maybe too much, and I didn't. Every time I was like, it would be, I told you so, Joy, and I'm like, I know, and then again, come to the next one, because it was fast. I was always worried.
Yeah, that
like,
was
wait a minute,
that.
I only done a promotion last year, and they were like, but you can do it. Let's do it and see if you drop a couple of clients, it's still going to be, you're still going to be doing it. So it was always a bit of a worry for me, but I did it just, I never regretted any. It was
never
just
slowed down. And again, the whole idea of getting promoted was to lose 20% of your clients, because you needed the 20% that were prepared to pay the more amount of money, which again now, if any of us sat down and went, do you want to lose 20% of your clients? We'd be like,
No,
no chance. We want to keep them all. So unfortunately, it's not so much promotions, but it's price increases because of the cost of running the business. That's the terrifying bit. It's not the promotions that are the scary bit. It's actually just the fact that we've got to hike the prices up every year because it's costing a fortune to run the salons. But did you do, like that kind of change your image much for your promotion? Did you try to look more expensive, or were you already, because you'd grown up under Linda?
Again, I think that was the hard thing, because I was like, I always just turned out as best I could, like, you know. But I think you would always just say, like, you know, it was silly though, because I wasn't one, I've always kind of, I wasn't one for changing my hair much or anything like that. It was just kind of, but I think I would just always go in fresher and just like new, kind of starting a new slate, just trying to just be better every day, and probably just take a bit more time in the mornings. But I think when you do always try your hardest, it's hard to try any harder.
No,
that's the truth.
It's at that point then it's about being consistent.
Yes, that's it.
If you've set that bar up there, it's like, well, I can't really get any higher than that, but I need to stay there.
That's it.
Because the problem is, if it's even just there, is your client then going to notice, you know, I didn't spend as much time, or, you know, the haircut wasn't maybe as good. But you rocked your bob for a while, remember?
Oh,
You chopped your bob. There's Congress photographs of your wee bob.
That's only one thing I've
It kicks
ever done.
about, because I wind Jackie up, right, because she's in that photograph, right? 'Cause I think we'd won Salon of the Year, and she's there, and she's looking at me. She is looking at me, right? I know it took another 10 years or something, right? But I'm going, you were looking at me at that picture, and every time she does this, she goes, look at Joy's bob. You know, like,
I might get one.
We'll bully her back into it at some point. So that transition and working through the ranks, you know, that was great. You then and Pam obviously survived the kind of sort of shaky peg period at B Street, where obviously, you know, I was away, kind of people that you grew up with had maybe started leaving as well. Was that kind of tough at the time, or were you just that busy that you couldn't sort of focus into it?
It wasn't. I'm always just put my head down and do my work, honestly. So I didn't really let it get to me, but I probably did, because everything does a bit, doesn't it? Probably impact you a wee bit. Because it's just, you know what it's like. See, the MD, even the days, MD leaves, are upset about it. I don't like it. You get used to them. Especially when it's good people, and there was loads of good people then. So it probably did a bit, but I think just been lucky, just loving what I do and just getting on with it and like my clients. And, you know, you didn't have much time in the staff room, like you just put your head on and got on with it. So it didn't a bit, but it probably did a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Again, as
overall.
well, you know, you're all for that ilk. We're going, well, people are leaving, it's more clients.
Exactly. Well, you were even busier when somebody left, so you didn't have as much time to be sad about it.
And then, obviously, you've got Will and Shannon coming in, and at the time that Alan then franchised it to them. How was that as a transition? Because obviously you'd grown up, you know, really only other Alan, as much as I was a manager within, you were under the directorship of Alan
the whole time
for that whole period, and kind of a bit like myself at the time, and same with George Square, I guess, was never really imagined that being an opportunity. You always thought Royal Exchange Square would be Royal Exchange Square, B Street would be B Street, and
I know,
and
it was never on the cards,
and then we'd all have all these fragments without it, around it. So when that happened, and they came in and they were under their stewardship, was it much of a change, or again were you just that busy you just had to go on with it?
I was thinking there when you were saying that. So for a good wee while, see when you left before Shannon and Will took over, that was a good few years, right? I know we had like Brian as the manager, other people. We didn't really have a manager, right? When you left. So it was funny, and it runs itself, as you know, Buchanan Street. It does. So and
as long as the stock's there, we're ready to rock.
And we always had a lot of stock. So that was a good thing, but it was weird. So it felt like, you know, that's great, because we're all just working. We don't actually need somebody to tell us. We're just doing our job. But we like, and then I think it wasn't until I remember Alan telling me, and I'm like, what, who is it? Oh God, like, and all that. I remember like panicking about somebody new, and I'd obviously saw Shannon at Congress, but we never really spoke or anything. And I remember going, oh God. And then when Shannon came in, you're all welcoming Shannon and Will come in, and then it was like, right, wait a minute, somebody's going to actually manage me, because I didn't need management, but everything needs guidance. And for a while it was just, and I remember Shannon taking me into the office and just saying, like, just before we start, because I say, I wasn't sure, I got on with most people, but you just like, well, we got on, will we,
you don't know,
and I remember just sitting down and I just want to tell you something before you start, Joy, like, you are doing amazing, like, and stuff like that, and I was like, so it started off a great note, she's great with people, Shannon, and straight away, I say, some made me think, well, we got on, and we just had it off straight away, because she was just telling me, like, you've had no management, basically, for, say it was 2 years, I can't remember, because when we had people run the salon, they weren't really managers, it was just filling in, and she's like, right, so you're already doing this, which you've had, and I'm going to take it there, I'm going to take it there, I'm going to take it there, and I'm like going, right, and she just this wee bit of guidance that was just done it all. I was nearly doubling everything I'd done, because
just another wee set of eyes on it.
Even though you think you're still doing it, you didn't have somebody encouraging you over you, or just saying what you can do and what you're capable of doing. Even though I was still trying every day, you probably did. Not slide, but I wasn't pushing myself, maybe. Of
course.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, right, okay, and then it was a matter of months of everything she said I would do, and she's like, this is not going to be me, this is going to be you, I'm just telling you I'm at like a bit more where I'm at my point now, because I was still young at that point as well, and it was just like, so it was great, because as I say, we didn't have any management when you left properly, you know what I mean? And Alan was, I know at times it had to just run itself, and it's a huge salon like that, it's hard.
No, of course.
And then we just done it all, and it was just great, and they did turn it around, because she just put everything in it, so it was just great. It was just,
because they would have been in. I mean, at that time, you didn't have a lot of stylists at the time, did you?
I know.
It was pretty tough, and a massive risk for the pair of them.
I know.
That was one of the things, because also all of the other franchises opened as these brand new shiny buildings, and the salon wasn't in its best fettle at the time. There was bits of it that really needed a lot of work and really needed looked after, and infamously we were still flooding Tissot on a regular basis. There was nothing worse than seeing a guy with any of his climbing gear on going, can I speak to you for a minute? No, we're flooding Tissot. But then obviously you get to see them rebuild it, and then you get to see them remodel it, and the place is just incredible to be in as well. What was it like coming back in when it was remodelled?
That was amazing. So it was. We loved it.
So
because that was the first. We were over to 24
right.
About 4 months or so.
Yeah.
And I remember going back for something that was like a total building site. I didn't like, right, okay, it's really getting ripped out the shed, and we come back, we just loved it. It was like, because you know what the car in the street's like, it didn't actually, all wee tiny things, it still looked amazing. It was, as you say, it was getting that way, it did need something, but it didn't look terrible before it, and then we were just like, whoa, it was quite,
because it's always evolved. It's always evolved from when I started and I was there, and we would do wee tweaks and we would change wee things.
That's it.
But the kind of the bread and butter. The funniest thing ever was Alan got, when he first got, remember the floating chairs with the grey back and the two wee wooden armrests, the wee see-through ones. Because we had the wee blue ones at first when I first started. And his whole thing about chairs in that salon is you've got to be able to see through them, because the focal point of the section's up there. So it'll just look like 25 chairs lying about on the floor. So they always had to be see-through. So they didn't take up the thing. And it took about 2 years till anybody noticed that he'd spent £36,000 on chairs. Right? Nobody had ever... honestly, I thought he was going to stab the first client that ever went, "Are these new chairs, Alan?" And he's like that.
Oh my
like
God,
£36,000 he'd spent in chairs over 2 years. And I, it's so funny because I catch myself, and because we're all visual, you get bored of looking at the salon after a certain amount of time. The thing I teach with my assistants is, once they're in the salon 10 days, so 2 weeks of work, they're now in that salon more than even the best clients are in 2 years. So they take it for granted within 2 weeks, whereas hopefully a client still comes in every 8, 12 weeks and goes, "Oh, this place is lovely," and they love it. So it's never to take that wow factor away from that client, because you're now taking it for granted because you come in here every day. But equally then, you then only see the bits that you don't like, right? Like, I hate my floor. I've hated my floor since the day my salon opened. I can't stand it, right? And I want to change it all the time. And for all the reasons that I'll eventually get there. It'll probably be the salon's 25th birthday. I'll finally get the floor changed. But I've always had like new sinks and chairs, and I've had to change everything else around it. But I really, really, really want to change my floor. The subplot of that is, can you remember the tunnel turfed the dance floor for the World Cup in 1998? So remember the opening game of the World Cup?
Right, I would
so you'd have been in the salon, you'd have been working around, and Alan gave me into trouble for Alan gave me into trouble for shutting early. So yous were all decked out in tartan and all that. We had the salon all decorated, and you all got to go home early. And I went to the tunnel because they were playing the game live, and they turfed the dance floor with real grass.
That was brilliant.
Right? So they put a goal at one end and a telly in the goal. And all the bar staff, for whatever reason, they weren't allowed to serve booze until half time. Yeah. So we were all in Bobolovski's, got leathered and bobs, and then went downstairs. But the girls were kicking about with like, you know the boxes they used to give like chalk ices at the cinema? And they had like pies and Bovril and Kansai and brew. And they were giving that to everybody, so we were all rolling about. So I actually asked a guy, one of my favourite clients passed away this week, and I'm gutted, right? And he was an amazing guy, and he's the most world-famous carpet fitter in the world, right? So if you're watching the telly and there's a carpet, snooker, golf, Formula One, all the horse racing, COP26, Ryder Cup, anything, if there's a carpet there, it was this guy's carpet, right? He was an amazing guy, and 2 haircuts ago, his second last haircut since the last saw him about that. Do you want to do AstroTurf in my salon for the World Cup? So he was going to come and measure it all up. We were going to AstroTurf the salon for the World Cup, but it's only going to be about £2,000 less than putting my Tico floor in. So I'm like, no, actually, I'll just wait and I'll get my floor. But on that note then, because obviously you're working your socks off and you're doing that. What was your free time? Were you hitting the town? Were you going out? And
oh, I just loved it. Oh, you remember the days, Ricardo? We just said we worked on Name Room, Ricardo was our boss. We get in anywhere.
Well, we don't really. Well, the problem is we don't really remember the days. That's the issue. Well,
no, exactly. We're too drunk. It's the best days.
The thing for me, all I ever wanted to do was give the same opportunities that Alan gave to us, right? So when I started as an assistant in 1990, your Rainbow Room wage slip was a skippy for the tunnel. The tunnel opened in 1990, and that was a skippy. And thankfully enough, I was tall enough and old enough looking then to get in with the wage slip. You know, they wouldn't ID you. I think it's long enough now that we can get away with that. It's okay. And that used to make you feel special.
It's brilliant.
Right? So you just been able to do that and saunter in. So my next thing was I came up with my gold cards. So I get wee gold cards made. So all the bouncers got a card for their girlfriend. So I would do their hair in B Street. The girl at the coat queue, she got a gold card. So I never had to take a ticket. I could just give them my jacket. And then I would pick 2 barmaids so they would know Jack Daniels and Coke. So I'd walk in. I wouldn't even go in the skippy. I'd get through, I would just fucking fling my jacket into the coat bit and my drink would be there by the time I got to the bar. Who is this guy, right? It was hilarious. So because I had that, my then next job was, how do I get that for my crew? How do we all, right? And we did all go out en masse, right? Monday nights. I made you all work on a Monday. So your whole rota, you crew all got a Monday. So you were all off on a Tuesday, so we could all go out on a Monday night, right? That's like, so I was in charge of the rota. So I got to do that. So all you guys and Alana and all the crew, you were all off on a Tuesday.
Oh, it was great.
So we could all do that. But this goes back to Alan saying that, you know, a team that drinks together stays together. But also it was you were seen out and people would look over and go, who are they guys? They're all having a ball. And I didn't used to believe Alan about this, right? He used to talk about, I think it was Charlie Parker's or something, and they would take a table, they would shut Sturrock's, and they would go up the stairs. So I think it might be where One Up and all that, or Kong is, whatever it's called now. And he would take a table there, right? You know what it's like, right? You just look up and you're going, you're pure da. And no, you didn't. And then I was on a course years later, and I'm going, oh, I'm one of Alan Stewart's guys. He went, he said, we used to book the table next to theirs in Charlie Parker so we could hang about and see them, right? And that just, that drilled into my head. So my idea was, well, I had to do that with you guys. I wanted the next crew, whether they wanted to be clients of yours or whether they wanted to work with us and go, well, they all look like they're having a laugh, that we had to be out. Now, we maybe stretched it a wee bit further than what was first planned. And we were out pretty much, I think Thursday might be the only day that we weren't out as a crew. We had to recoup somehow. But that idea of, I think we did the employee of the month with Cat House. And that then got you the skippies for everywhere. So that meant like Cube, the garage, shed, Cat House and all that. You were actually on the guest list for all of those places, but you all just went to, by that point, well, we all went to the garage for a laugh during the week, and then it was probably, by that point it was probably Cube at the weekends. But that all came from just the fact that Alan and Linda, that little bit of paper that you got at the end of the month, got you into that club.
We were
and
just cool.
For all intents and purposes, it worked.
I know.
It did work. And what was great about that was I didn't actually need to be there then. You were on the list and you all got in. And I tried to organise that and do that when I opened in here and got laughed out of all the buildings. Nobody was like, who cares? And what's the point? And I'm like,
it's a different world,
wow,
isn't it?
it was such a shame because I never got that opportunity with that crew. And then, quite frankly, I was too old to go out with them. So I wasn't going to pure standing there, pure ancient boss, taking the wains out a night out. Right? I hate that. I'd say goodnight at 10 o'clock. I'm like, bye gang, and leave them to it. But at that point, it was absolutely as integral as training nights or anything that we all did it. And quite frankly, we were all very good at it.
That was brilliant.
We were all very, very good at it. So that, obviously, you've worked hard, you holidayed hard, partied hard, you did all this. And then this other thing that nobody in the world ever believes, that you became a mum.
No.
And then these two wee guys turned up. So, first one, when did he show up?
He showed up, so he's 5.5 now. So, that's 5.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's going into primary 2.
That's hilarious.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then second,
he is 3.
it's Reggie and Rocco, by the way, for those that are wondering.
And he's been before. He's been before in July.
It's quite quick, and just like, oh well, I've done it, I'll do it again.
I thought I'm getting older, I need to just squeeze him in.
Did you think that way?
Big time. Yeah, I remember.
And did you always want?
I always just wanted 2.
Yeah.
And I actually never told anyone, but I did always want boys because I thought, I'll jinx it if I say that. Because I would have been happy with any of them, I would have.
Yeah.
But 2 was enough for me. He would have liked more. He would have liked loads. But no, that was 2 was plenty for me. And I think
Hugh's family's massive, obviously. You came from quite a tight knit.
Went. Had to go get the snip because he, just to make sure.
Oh, bro, you'll be loving that revealed on the internet, but there you go. We won't edit that out, Hugh, we'll leave that in. And at that point, so did you do maternity leave first time round, or did you go straight into going part-time at that point?
I straight into part-time.
Did you?
Point,
so from when you had Reggie, then and you stay part-time right through from then?
I stayed part-time, so the 5.5 years I've been part-time now.
Right, so from there? Just
from Rocco, because you get this, like, when they're wee before they go to school, you need to be there all the time, do you know what I mean? So I just done that, and it was a strange time because I had like Rocco like bang in the middle of lockdown, like really see how the day we salons all closed down. You remember it? That was the day I found out I was pregnant and it wasn't planned.
Wow.
So it was a wee mistake. But we were planning having a baby 6 months or a year down the line, but it happened quick. So it was like, what's happening in the world? And honestly, it was more worse news about me. I just was like that. I remember I had to go around and like tell my mum and my sister, and she was over in Ireland at the time, that I was pregnant through the window because it wasn't allowed in. It was like at the bad, how the bad time we couldn't do anything.
Right at the worst
so it was a wee bit strange for me being pregnant and that. But everything's like, you jammy bugger, the biggest party in town, and you're pregnant half the time that nobody could drink. Well, you could drink in the house, but you couldn't go out, and I didn't miss out on all the partying because that was hard for me a bit, I must say. So for then I had just, do you know that way, especially having kids older, I thought to myself, luckily I've got my mum and dad there. So I wouldn't need to pay for childcare anyway, but it was like, I'm going to have a baby, I want to do this,
Equally, Hugh's family's all over an island as well, so it's not as if you had that.
Close,
obviously they are a massive backup and you get to go over all the time, and
but they're not there for any
you must be Stenaline's top client in the whole world. You must get a
airline points and boat points.
I was going to say, they must be giving you a gold card by now, your own wing. You still have 2 seats with your names on it. But so you've not got that backup just for like short-term things or last minute stuff.
Half the pressure off my mum, but she's just like the Dawn mum, the gran that wants them all the time. Honestly, I'm like, when I say this, I joke about have childcare on tap. I don't even like see if I'm maybe dropping them off because my mum's not. She's just like quite portrait about at home and stuff, but she's just always there for it. I'm very, very lucky. I've probably get more with my mum than people probably have with like 4 parents. So,
no, and it was always a really tight relationship. I mean, I always laugh because she kind of nearly tried to talk me out of giving you a job back in the day.
Mama, no.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to be a hairdresser. And I'm going, that way, But and I always laugh, and you did your thing, and you were flying, but it was kind of, I just always, you turned into this Joy round about my 30th birthday party, and this, you just kind of, at that point, that's when I saw your career kind of go. I kind of was about 30, so I'd been managing for, I don't know, about 5 years probably, but that fucking whoosh, and you went through there. But I just always remember your mum going, oh, I don't want it to be a hairdresser. Now I still laugh now, just thinking, you know, it was the best thing for you could have ever have done. With the competitive side in you, and kind of being used to doing like the most clients or the most converts, how was that going part time, and how did that change mindset?
I think a big having kids older, right? Because I was 37 when I had Rocco, right? Nearly 38. So I think it was just a wee bit, had been like, so been qualified since I was 18, and just do, not that I was, I mean, I still miss out a wee bit having the top amount of clients at Congress and stuff. I do still get all that, but I think it was just a wee bit time, right? When I know I have kids, I want to just have kids, give them all to them.
Focus change.
I really, and so I actually think I even like my work even more because I'm not doing it as much, you know, when I come in, because you've got the difference. But I think it was time for me to do that, and I knew I was going to have to take a wee step back, but I was still worried, how am I going to take this not being like the very top, you know. But as you say, it surprised me. I couldn't believe the first time after having Rocco, right, and we had a Congress, we were off for a couple of years because lockdown, and come back, and I remember, like, honestly, it was probably one of my awards that blew me away. I got like silver for still something like client care or treatments. No, I'm going, how can I get silver? I only worked 3 days. Like, I remember going, he's getting it wrong. Like, it was just one, as I say, it was treatments or something. It wasn't like a major big one as in my bonus or like one of the big brooches or anything. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe. I was like, it's amazing, you know. So still,
but you're again that role model, whether it's yourself, Pam, Jackie, whatever, that have then reduced hours, but percentage wise, performance is exactly the same. Turnover is actually higher. Because you're earning off of your commission's the same, but your basic wage has dropped, but you're actually consolidating the clients and doing the same amount of clients in a shorter amount of time, which, how the three of you even do that gives me another, you know, I've had a couple of strokes as it is, and I think the numbers that you do in the time frame that you do them blows my mind, and obviously, you know, the three of you still do that. But I think the thing that's really important to stress is the reason that it's been that successful is because the clientele was that huge in the first place. Yep. And you were able to consolidate it down the way. Whereas if you'd have started within a couple of years and went, oh, I only want to do 3 days, you wouldn't have been doing what you're doing now.
Totally. See, when I started, so I worked obviously 5 days. By choice, I worked 9 to 8 every Thursday. That was me. That was an extra. That was me a choice to build. That was a peak time that I could build in colours. And I know it's only an extra 2 hours, but it's the extra. What is that at the end of the year that nobody else has done?
It's
massive. It was nothing to me. I was in for 9 anyway. I was either going to the pub or going home to. Do you know what I mean? Just going home to chill out. So it was like, what's the difference to me if the clients want it? And I think that gave me a wee bit of upper hand. And it was Linda and Pam. They would just stay and whatever, and like you, whenever you finished the clients, I'm like, no, just open my comp then. Like, do you know? It was like, you just done it.
Yeah, of course.
And you wanted it. Yeah, didn't care. Like, I remember it was a bragging thing. I was here to 7:30. God, that's brilliant. You know, I was actually when the opposite. Like, you'd be like, I was just raging, didn't get out to this, didn't. Do you know, but I mean, it's just different nowadays.
Getting pizzas from DiMaggio's in for the clients while they were sitting.
Because we all finished late, we might as well just go for a drink and bring the team, and it was just. It is a different world.
It is completely different. But the fact is, all that fundamental build and that huge numbers in clientele meant that when you did go down to your 3 days, you know, you were set. That's it.
But as you say, so I was actually trying to do that wee bit more, right, when I first qualified, because I knew it's going to be detrimental to my career. It's going to help me. I just can't imagine going. I know it's different because work-life balance and lockdown changed things, right? But I was just. Give me more, just give me a wee bit more, because I want to. That's the only way I could do it. I wasn't like amazing and way better than everybody else. It was my determination and hard working. Was the young ones are saying, oh, like, I want you to drop a day. Well, you're going to go backwards if you drop a day. You can't build on that. Like, so it's just I can't get their mindset because it's not me.
The great thing as well now, especially B Street just now, is that pretty much most of the stylists, if not all of them, have all grown up under. Obviously, Will and Shannon's training, but obviously sitting watching you and Pam as well. So there's no fluke that these guys have got that work ethic and that desire to win and go, I want to do one more client. And the issue is actually that that's getting legislated away from us as owners.
That's it.
We're actually getting into trouble for giving you that opportunity now. And you're sitting going, I don't know how, all of the ways I know how to make people a star,
it's been took away
I'm not letting do. And I've got to keep retraining myself as an owner to go, how can I teach you? What am I going to do? And that's a wee shame because it's not about, it's never about us as the owner. It's about developing you guys as the team. And the fact is you've walked the talk, you've done it, you've been there, and you're the proof of the pudding, as it were. And then that's allowed you to go part-time, have a quality of life, still have that clientele, love what you do for the time that you do it, but then get yourself involved in your passions, whether it's your family and other things. And on that note, you know, you went heavily back in to sport, you know, because you've not got enough time. You know, you're not doing enough.
Right.
Because you did go back to volleyball for a while as well, didn't you? Yeah. And you played at quite a good level, didn't you?
Did I?
And then obviously now running. This is a new one. I didn't know about this until today. So half marathons, you maniac. Like you've been standing on your legs since you were 14, right, and behind a salon chair, so you've decided to give them a rest by running half marathons.
Just, do you know, a wee bit, another wee challenge, and I think, see when you, it's not an issue, I still feel 21. Generally, I'm not one of these people, age is just a number. Never ever let it stop you doing anything, I believe in that. And my husband's even worse with that, and I think I'm just like, having my kids a little bit older, I know it's not an issue and I didn't feel it, but I'm like, I want to be fit as I can for my kids.
Of course.
And just and just actually, like, just go and take a step back, because work was everything for me now as I've got a family focus as well, and go, like, what can I want to be the best role model for my boys, and just being fit for them, and just, you know, so, and just being fitter and actually going, right, okay, I'm actually want to get a better shape, because why not? Why can I not do it when I'm in my 40s?
Of course.
So I think I've got that in mind. And even same in my job, still try as hard every day, you know. But going, I can better myself, best version of yourself. That's what's not always in the back of my mind.
Pam's always looked after herself as well, hasn't she? She ran and she did all of that, and obviously you are doing those kind of numbers, you know. Jackie's swimming and Pilates and all that. Obviously, she's had a lot of trouble with her back and all that, so she's having to do that to manage that as well. But there's one thing going to the gym and looking after yourself, but there's a whole other thing doing half marathons. So was it Hugh that got you into it?
Hugh kind of got me into it. He always says to me, like, I went out a couple of wee runs and stuff, and he's like, you're a natural runner and all this, so you could do it. And I'm like, and then I thought to myself, do you know what? See, it was only before Rocco was 4. I'd not done anything since I had the boys at all, not even the gym, right? And I was like, and luckily I don't put weight on or anything like that, but I was like, do you know what? I'm actually going to get a bit fitter. It wasn't even anything to do with my body. And then I'm like, and I started just going out wee runs and stuff like that, and he was like, you're a natural runner, Joy, you should do it and all that. So, birthday present, entered in the half marathon.
That was your birthday present?
No, this is the point. I wasn't even a went list. It was a wee bit, I was like, that's the worst freaking present I've had in my life. And he's like, and see, because that was me entered, I wasn't batting off Ricardo.
Challenge
like,
accepted.
Okay. That was the first one in Glasgow last year, and I'd done it and I really enjoyed it. Don't know if I enjoyed Sunday as much, but it was still good, and I still done as well. But I've just been doing wee bits and bobs, and I was definitely just wanting to get fitter in the last couple of years, because I stopped having the boys. And see, when you have got wee babies, you generally, I mean, if you really want it, but I'm not asking my mum, she watches them enough to watch them to go to a gym session or anything like that. So it was only till they were 2 of them were at nursery in school, which was Reggie last year. That's me really been doing
and
it.
And they're on it, aren't they? The 2 of them are full on.
Rocco's just football, everything, honestly. He's brilliant, so he is. So it's great. The wee one's still a wee bit wee, but they're going to be sporty, you can tell. Hugh's obviously a runner and that, and he's like really competitive. He played football right up till his 30s as well, you know. I think they're definitely going to be like that.
And were you saying he's doing like sub 3 hour marathons?
So he's done marathons like all over the world, and he's sub 3, so he's really, really good. And do you know, because the boys, he devotes himself to the boys. He's the best dad ever. He doesn't even get too much training. Literally once a week on a Sunday he'll go run. When there's a marathon coming up, he does do a tighter schedule, but he has inspired me a bit to like run a bit and become fitter, because he's all about fitness and living as long as he can. Want to live to over 100, I'm not so sure if I want to, Hugh, but he has definitely encouraged me there, and it was always there for me as well, you know what I mean? But he has definitely been encouraged me that way.
The greatest thing, like, I mean, obviously I was lucky enough to come to your wedding, and it really was, it was brilliant. It was brilliant for all of the reasons it was brilliant. And obviously, you're stone's throw away from where my family are in Ireland, where you got married. It was bizarre. And getting to take Jackie back to our mum and dad's house that they built that weekend, it was just the whole 3 days were magical, right? We had a blast, right? But my favourite thing was just the idea that Hugh's like, I mean, he's for you. Right, I mean, there's no, he can't go out with anybody else either.
No.
Right, you're not going out with anybody else. You're not marrying anybody else, right? And all the while you're looking at him and you're going, well, just as well you were on that holiday, pal, because you've found your guy, and it's brilliant. And then all the families were great. His crew were just brilliant, right? I mean, it was a laugh from start to finish. Good. The sword will never be forgotten. Needless to say, that was legendary. But it was a brilliant night. The only thing that bugged me was Jackie's back was completely gubbed, and they did Purple Rain. The band played Purple Rain, and it was amazing. Obviously, me, giant Prince fan and all that. We were out in the lobby waiting for the taxi coming. I never got to see it. I was raging. It was absolutely raging, but it was amazing. So all of these sliding door moments, whether it was being at the same beach pool party as he was at, having the wee men, all the sporty stuff, the salons, doing your work experience at Sassoon's. Would you change anything?
I wouldn't change a thing. I don't know, honestly. I've never even, do you know, I don't sometimes, I'm glad because I'm a deep thinker. Sometimes I work that fast pace. I don't overthink things like the past, but I don't think I would change anything the way it all happened. No. Because I couldn't have been one of these people, Ricardo. I would never want a child young.
Yeah.
I was too much. I was like, what these guys, the men do the juniors?
Yeah.
I started with 3 juniors, right? They were all really good hairdressers, by the way. 3 of them ended up pregnant at 16.
Yeah.
That was me going straight on the pill.
We had to change the toilet seat in Buchanan Street at that
honestly,
point. We went through a bit of a phase, didn't we?
Like, I was always quite in the know about that and like clued up, but I'm like, Jesus, I won't have an accident or nothing. And just because I'm like, and it was like they were years behind me with everything and they were all good and well. It wasn't that they were wrong and I was right, but
it's just different.
So probably wouldn't even change it in, even the fact that I had my kids a wee bit older. I've loved it all.
And if you bumped into that 14-year-old kid going in to do the Sunday club, would you give her any advice?
No, I wouldn't.
Just go on with it?
I wouldn't, because maybe you could say slow down, enjoy it more, but that's just who I am. I couldn't. I've enjoyed every minute. I love it all.
There wouldn't have been any.
I must say,
slowing down is never going to happen.
I don't even think I probably would, to be honest, because I'm a happy person, and I've always your work's a big thing, especially you start it when you're 14 and you're still there at like 44. But like, it's all been good. I have loved. I wouldn't change any.
The consistency of attitude is always the thing that jumps out for me. I've never met you different. Ever.
And that's you don't need to try because you're lucky. That's how you are.
And you're obviously naturally that way. Now, we're talking about fitness. We're talking about looking after each other. And one of the questions that we ask everybody is, you get a choice of chocolate bar. So of these two, what would be your chocolate bar?
Very hard. So I'll tell you what, pretend on the day what I'm in the mood for, I've been mood for the Bovril today.
Right, okay.
I didn't even say that right, did I?
Go with the Lindor.
Lindor!
That's it. You can have the Lindor.
I thought it was, what do you call it?
I'm keeping the Whisper Gold this
Lindor,
time.
I would definitely go for the Lindor. No, I thought that was the dark.
The dark chocolate.
What do you call it? Starts with a B.
Alan and Linda give me
I did say that, right? That's what I thought it was. Oh, no, I like Lindor.
You're okay with that? Right, we'll go with that. Because Alan and Linda would always like, I like dark chocolate. Oh, for God's sake, can't win with that.
I like any chocolate. So
last question, right? Because I know you're not particularly, you love music. You're not particularly artist-y ones. No. I always remember one time you'd come in, and I don't know whether you were a stylist or an assistant at the time, and it's actually the time I'd ever seen you tired, right? And you'd come in like, what's up? And you went, bloody Dad and all his pals come home. They were playing Sex Pistols till 4 a.m, right? They'd all come home and had a party, right? And I'm loving the idea. I'm going, mums and dads are jumping about the house to the Sex Pistols, right? I'm like, that's a moment in time. And do you know, we're only about 10 years away from the Sex Pistols being played in old folks' homes. That's where that. But I always remember that. So yes, you were never maybe artist. And did you not tell me something like you'd only been to 3 gigs or something like that? But obviously, clubs.
Yeah.
Different story.
Aye, definitely.
Dancing. So rather than bringing artists back or going to clubs, if you could bring a nightclub in Glasgow that's shut down back from the dead for a night out,
Right.
where would you bring back?
It would have to be Cube. Definitely,
right.
because that was when I first started to get out. We just walked to the front of the queue, and
Golden
the queue would be
period.
way long,
Golden
and it
period.
was just brilliant. The golden days.
You were always found at that high table with a champagne bucket.
Exactly.
That's usually
Straight into
we were.
the VIP. We just thought we owned the club.
Anyway, swiftly moving on. Wunderbar. Where would that be?
So that would probably be my new place, because obviously I'm older now and that. I would
Right.
probably just be bars and stay out late now rather than go to the
like-
club. I mean, the odd time, you'd end up in one, but the live music and everybody up dancing and all that, that would probably be my
So
choice.
it's definitely a night out thing for you rather than which was always going to be. It was always going to be the case.
So.
Well, Joy, anybody watching, anybody listening that can't get your excitement and your enthusiasm and your desire for what you've done and what you continue to do must either be deaf, blind, or just no getting it. Because as an inspiration and a role model to any young person, boy or girl, wanting to get into hairdressing and be a success at it, if they don't follow in your footsteps, they're off their head. Hard footsteps to follow in. Either the height of your heels, the amount of running shoes, or just the sheer amount of clients you've done. You're not going to, it's not just going to happen. It's not going to happen like magic. Do you know what I mean? You burst your backside to get to do that. But it's been amazing. And I get to thank everybody. It's like their time in the brand, like it's mine and it isn't. Do you know what I mean? But Rainbow Room's been a bloody better place for you being about it.
Aww.
And thanks so much. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.